Hurricane Beryl to hit Jamaica tomorrow. U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the president is immune when he commits a crime. Wanted man killed in Trelawny. U.S. crash out of Copa. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. Hurricane Beryl is expected to bring strong winds and lots of rain to Jamaica as the island was placed under hurricane watch, prompting Cabinet to structure its disaster response under the Disaster Risk Management Act. A hurricane warning means dangerous sea conditions associated with the hurricane are expected to spread across the island over the next 24 to 36 hours. Currently, at times, the wind speed has been as strong as 165 miles per hour, making it a very dangerous Category 5. And yesterday, Hurricane Beryl roared across the Windward Islands as an extremely dangerous Category 4, delivering catastrophic winds, intense rainfall, and life-threatening storm surge. Beryl made landfall shortly after 11 a.m. on Grenada's Carioca Island in the Caribbean Sea with maximum wind of 150 miles per hour, and it is the strongest known hurricane to pass through the Grenadines according to data from NOAA that goes back to 1851. There were widespread reports of destruction and devastation in Carioca and Petite Martinique. Grenada Prime Minister Dixon Mitchell said on Monday in a briefing, in half an hour, Carioca was flattened. Over here in the United States, the Supreme Court ruled on Monday that Donald Trump may claim immunity from criminal prosecution for some of the actions he took as president in a decision that will likely further delay a trial on the federal election subversion charges against him. The decision was 6-3 with the liberals in dissent. What this means, the ruling rejects a decision from a federal appeals court in February that found Trump enjoyed no immunity for alleged crimes he committed during his presidency to reverse the 2020 election results. The decision says that the president have immunity for official acts, but not all acts are official, and lower courts must decide which acts qualify for each. But he can also overrule the lower courts and arrest the prosecutor. What this also means is that a deranged or racist president can also scrap the Supreme Court, make them null and void, and replace them with himself as the lawmaker and the highest court. He can create his own army, such as the racist militias across the country, and use as his private army and hitmen. He can also arrest his opponents and execute those he thinks are a threat. And if you think this is a joke, then think of Russia, Cuba, North Korea, Venezuela, etc. Just Google them and do a brief reading of who makes laws in those countries and see what happens to the opposition leaders. Them either dead or them in jail. This kind of reporting you would not get anymore, as I would be only reporting on nice things about the president, such as how handsome he is and how well he plays golf. And if you don't think this is a joke, then let the Republicans win the next election and you will never see another election in this country. This is the blueprint to the end of the rule of law.
Included things like, can the president assassinate a rival? I think we have to look at the Supreme Court's affirmative answer to that. Yes, you can, with as much seriousness as it deserves. I mean, this is a death squad ruling. This is a ruling that says that as long as you can construe it as an official or quasi-official act, you can do absolutely anything, and never be held accountable, not only while you are president, but forever. And this is a president who has activated pro-Trump paramilitary groups that, wear insignia and T-shirts and hold placards celebrating literally right-wing death squads, right? This is a president who has talked about absolutely using the Justice Department to go after his rivals. This explicitly immunizes anything the president wants to do through the Justice Department, but all but explicitly justifies anything the president wants to do, full stop, to anyone.
And that's another reporter who is giving her opinion on what she thinks is happening in this country as well. A 48-hour curfew extension has imposed in sections of Green Island, Hanover. The curfew began at 6 p.m. on Monday, July 1st, and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. on Wednesday, July 3rd. The boundaries of the curfew are not at Orange Bay Square along the highway to the small bridge beside Lobster Smokehouse, east along an imaginary line from the small bridge beside Lobster Smokehouse to Marchtown Square, south from Marchtown Road along an imaginary line through Dam Road District to the entrance of Dam Road, and west from the entrance to Dam Road District along the main road to Orange Bay Square. And during the hours of the curfew, all persons within its boundaries are required to remain within their premises unless otherwise authorized by the ground commander. A 48-hour curfew was imposed in sections of Green Island on Wednesday, June 26, but it ended at 6 p.m. on Friday, June 28. Meanwhile, a man who was reportedly on the Trelawny police radar was shot and killed during a home invasion on Sunday night. The deceased has been identified as 40-year-old Sheldon Henlon of a New Forest, Duenville address in the parish. Reports from the Trelawny police are that about 11 p.m., residents heard explosions coming from a direction of Henlon's home. The police were summoned and upon their arrival, Henlon was found suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He was taken to the Falmouth Public General Hospital where he was pronounced dead, and the police are yet to determine a motive for that killing. On to sports, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone smashed her own 400 meters hurdles world record on Sunday to book her place at the Paris Olympics in a sensational style at the U.S. trials in Eugene, Oregon over the weekend. McLaughlin-Levrone obliterated her rivals to power home in an astonishing 50.65 seconds, bettering her previous best of 50.68, also set at Hayward Field during the 2022 World Championship. McLaughlin-Levrone, the reigning Olympic champion, was out of the blocks quickly and then produced a devastating burst of speed during the stretch to finish ahead of Anna Cockrell, who did a time of 52.64, and Jasmine Jones 52.77. Praise God, McLaughlin-Levrone said after her jaw-dropping performance. And this lady keeps breaking her own world record whenever she runs. On to football, whether it's a sea of yellow-clad Colombian fans, multitudes of green-shirted Mexican supporters, or hordes of Venezuelan spectators decked in burgundy, migrant fans are providing a raucous, passionate backdrop to the on-field action at Copa America. And for only the second time in history, South America's Continental Championship is being held at venues across the United States this year, offering a taste of what North America can expect when the 2026 World Cup is staged in the region in 2 years' time. One thing I can tell you is that the South American referee them thief for the South American teams and they rule against the CONCACAF teams. And that has caused grief because it cost at least one coach to resign. The Jamaican coach, who is an excellent coach, has resigned because the team lost all 3 games and it was really not his fault. Jamaica will not get a better coach before the World Cup qualifier, and the JFF should beg this man to stay. I repeat, Jamaica will not get a better coach before the World Cup qualifier. Meanwhile, yesterday the United States crashed out of Copa, losing to Uruguay in a highly contentious game with, as usual, a very inexperienced referee who gave the benefit of calls, of course, to the South Americans. And this is a disappointment end for the U.S. men's national team, a team that was expected to be among the top 2 teams in the group, which included Bolivia and Panama. And this now means another headache as the United States coach job is hanging by a thread. And everyone is now calling for the U.S. coach to quit as well. Don't forget that the best news and sports takes place on this station. If you missed the news, please go to YouTube, type in Jamerican Undiluted News, listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. That's going to be news and sports on your favorite radio. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.